Hello, my name is Erica Shea, and you are tuned into Slay, where each week you and I turn our attention inward and reflect on ideas intended to help move you into a state of inspiration and empower you to take decisive, proactive action toward achieving your goals and reaching your highest potential. Today, we are talking through the concept of control, touching on the benefits of relinquishing it and how you can go about doing it with greater ease and peace. If you are ready to become more aware of what's really worth your energy, then this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Have you ever gone through something especially challenging or overwhelming and been told to let go and let God, or just let go and trust in the universe? How did it make you feel? What's it make you feel right now when you hear that? I remember in some of my darkest moments before my mind just, started to stretch, I would hear something like that or come across a post on social that was similar to that and just think, this is so fake. Easy for this person to say, right? They're not going through what I'm going through. I just felt like there was so much despair in my heart that to not try to control situations and control outcomes would be to not protect what little hope was left in my heart, which would just be negligent and even more devastating. I thought, why would I do that? There's no way that I could not maintain what little control I felt I had to just yield to a higher power that I didn't even know if I believed in. I felt like no one's truly got my back, my best interest, but me. Therefore, I need to do everything in my power to see myself forward. And I think it's admirable, like that line of thinking. If those are thoughts that you've ever sat with, I think it's admirable. I stay proud of myself for the level of self determination and grit that I demonstrate. But I tell you what, all traits have a positive and negative aspect depending on how they're used and to what extent. And this is where self analysis and self reflection really come in handy. As we've talked about in previous episodes, we can't solve problems from the same level of consciousness that caused them. We can't create a future that looks different from our past, operating with the same thinking, thoughts, actions, and behaviors. So, with that in mind, and just the sincere objective to change my personal trajectory, I had to get real with myself. If I was not satisfied with my circumstances, if I was overwhelmed with thinking about the future because of everything that was or wasn't going on right then, and I accepted that I was the producer of what was and the creator of my tomorrows, and my way had not worked up to that point. The only thing then left for me to do was to stop trying to manipulate things in my favor as I had done. And so, in order to stop doing that, to stop trying to force outcomes, I had to acknowledge that my way was not the best way. And the evidence was in the quality of my heart. I felt miserable. It didn't need more evidence than that. The voice in my head that I had been relying on and following directions from, she did not know best, clearly. And it is that realization that led me to the idea of letting go. And by led, I mean that literally I allowed it to become an option that I entertained, that letting go idea. If I was and had been uncomfortable, stressed, anxious, depressed, unhappy, and dissatisfied doing things my way, what was the harm in deciding to stop trying to control everything just to see if things changed? It didn't feel in that moment like there was anything to lose when I thought of it in that way. And what happened in that, what I gained from allowing myself to let go, was pure freedom. So that is what I want to talk about today. If you are someone who is constantly worried about things going wrong or trying to prevent them from going wrong, if you're someone who is constantly trying to control everything, feeling burned out and exhausted from it, feeling unable to see potential in new experiences or ideas, just unable to delegate or trust in others, then I invite you to consider the idea of relinquishing your control. Because honestly, the more we try to control something, the more that something controls us, meaning the more that something locks up our valuable attention and energy. And It is my intention through this episode to help you become more aware of what is worth yours, what is worth your energy. Typically, when we struggle with letting go and trusting in the universe, it boils down to one factor, and that is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of things not working out perfectly. The need for predictability, it provides us with a sense of security. We try to control everything in order to protect ourselves. It is a habit adopted for good, right? That I have found to really only elicit negativity and produce unnecessary added stress by way of self imposed limitations in the way of thinking, doing, and being. The only thing that we can control in life is how we react to situations that we are faced with. We can't control what happens to us or around us, but we can control how we respond. And how we respond, it's a cause for every following effect. Every action has a corresponding reaction or consequence. That is the literal law of cause and effect. So, who are you being today? Because who you're being today determines your behaviors and actions. The way you respond to situations, again, is your cause for a future effect. With that in mind, could you be putting the vision that you have for your life at risk by trying to control every little possible detail today? Every little thing. If you are at a place in your life where you are not satisfied with the current conditions, could you entertain the idea of letting go and trusting that things are happening for a reason, truly, and they're happening to teach you about you, yourself, to make you more aware of what energizes you and what doesn't, what you like and what you don't, to make you more aware of what grows you and what doesn't, so that you can make more informed decisions each day that move you more in alignment toward your actual life purpose. If we are constantly trying to control outcomes and control what happens to us and around us, that's where our focus is going. Would it be a stretch to assume that there's potential and opportunity all around us that we're then missing out on? Remember, where our attention goes, energy flows. If there is any area in your life that you are trying to control, then it is likely an area where energy is locked up. If your energy is locked up, then your attention is locked up. And if your attention is locked up, then by default, you cannot be open to receiving higher insight, direction, or guidance from the universe. You won't be able to see it. You won't be able to spot it or notice it. So, what do you want in life? Do you want abundance? Do you want peace? Do you want prosperity? Freeing up channels in our minds is what gives us our best chance. It's scary to step into the unknown, to step out of our comfort zone, but that is the only way to get to that next level of ourselves. If we only stick with what we know and what we're comfortable with, we can't grow. We only become stagnant, and there's no way to live up to our potential and grow into it from there. So notice when you're trying to control or manipulate an outcome. Confront yourself in that moment and challenge yourself to relinquish control. Consider the idea that what's meant for you will always be yours. It will never need to be forced, and it will always happen right on time. And to breathe. Give yourself a hug for demonstrating growth. Celebrate that your higher mind has got you when your old you that created old ways that you no longer want to claim for your life is trying to hold you back. Acknowledge that you are choosing potential and you're becoming greater because of it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a challenge operating from a place of openness and detachment from specific outcomes. You're going to feel vulnerable. But I can tell you this, when you're following the plan that the universe has for you, so you're just going to feel more content and fulfilled, right? Even if things aren't going exactly as you would wish or exactly as planned, you'll gain faith that you're moving in the right direction as things seem to just fall into place more easily and doors just start to open for you as opportunities arise that you never even expected. You'll feel a sense of alignment with your values, like you're living in a way that is true to who you are and what you believe. You'll feel a sense of purpose, like you're doing something meaningful and fulfilling, even if it isn't always easy. Trust in the process of this and see if you don't find greater trust in yourself and in the universe. Just see. If you enjoyed this episode and know someone who could benefit from today's message or any of the content that we discuss, be sure to share it with them. As always, I thank you for tuning in. Until next time, continue to show up for yourself in a major